Hello and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. Tonight we got a great show for you. Thank you all for coming. As always, I'm going to bring you the best show that I can possibly bring you. We got good things going on. I can hear the dogs in the background. They're my audience. But thank you all for coming tonight. I know a lot of you were over at A7 doing the show over there. That was really good. Great interview, story, whatever you want to call it, from Karen, Queen of Quartz. Just remember, go over, check that out. Check A7 out, Andromeda 7, Celestial Gateway. Great show over there. Thank you all for joining me here tonight. Tonight we're going to be talking about aliens a little bit, the Bible, rock art, the whole 9 yards. The big question is, have we been influenced by aliens through the Bible and through things for hundreds of years? Or maybe it's more people are, should you say, they knew something was going on, except they just couldn't say. Anyway, but tonight we're going to investigate that. I want to thank everybody for coming. Lori Elderkin, thank you. Lucky Stone, Pearl Jones, thank you. You are all special here to me. And of course, we got a few things going on. Let's see here. But we're going to kill a little bit of time because with all these things going on, we got a lot of headlines. And as we do, we got the A7 over there, and I'm sure a lot of other people are going to be dropping in. But tonight, I'm going to give you the headlines of the day, because sometimes these things refer to the stuff that we study. Okay, headline: Nancy Pelosi rejects Archbishop's call to report for supporting abortion. His problem. Yes. Headline: Biden thanks China during his speech to Canada's parliament. What is he thinking? Let's see. Headline: Iran-backed fighters retaliate against U.S. for airstrikes in Syrian-backed fighters fired 3 missiles at U.S. military base in northeast Syria. Wow. Okay, so that's what they're doing there. Let's see. Headline: numerous Stratotankers just went over Iraq. I bet you all didn't know that stuff. Missiles just struck 3 U.S. bases in Syria. Speaking to some sources in Syria, the attack tonight on the U.S. base, devastating by the sounds of high possibility of numerous American casualties. Headline: Deutsche Bank collapse risk grows as experts wait for new domino to fall. Okay, headline: Russia claims it will nuke Ukraine over any attempt to retake Crimea. Russia follows through on their threats. The West will continue to provoke them. Thus, to kill humans as possible. Oh, they're Luciferian, kill as many humans as possible, playing out before the world's eyes. Headline: No reason to worry. Deutsche Bank bloodbath reignites global bank crisis fears. Ooh, boy, that's a good one. Headline: Yellen conveys emergency financial stability meeting on Friday. Well, I guess this is Friday. Headline: Open AI CEO admits a bug allowed some Chat GPT users to see others, their conversations. Chat GPT lets users type in prompts to generate human-like responses. It is the fastest growing consumer application in history. So basically, it's saying that the computer you're talking to is really a person. That's where it's coming from. Deutsche Bank stock tumbles. The bank panic is over. The It's a $1 trillion bank with huge derivative exposure. The Credit Suisse fiasco was the trigger. Oh boy. You know, and sometimes they got some UFO ones in here. Headline, the morning briefing. Enough with the pervert adults in public schools already. Another day, another public school making the case for why Department of Education should be abolished. Headline, Bolshevik Biden and Democrats don't give a crap about kids, guns, violence, or civil rights. Governments are the biggest mass murderers in history, and they want your guns. Headline, Israel says, tell US EU that significant Iranian enrichment could trigger strike. The Iranians already have functional nuclear warheads and deliver platforms. This worry about their close to building is false narrative. That's an interesting one. Headline, Russian pilots spill the beans on how they intercepted US MQ-9 Reaper drone over the Black Sea. Russian fighters did not come into contact with the MQ-9, did not use airborne weapons, and returned safely to their Air Force base. Okay. Oh boy. Amazon lays off workers. It laid off more workers. Okay. Headline, banks are all melting. Signs of major credit contraction are already starting to emerge. Headline, Rich Dad R. Kowitsky project, the downfall of the US dollar, labels it toilet paper. We're watching the end of the American empire. This is bad money here. It's called the US dollar and it's good money here. This is silver and gold. Okay, Medvedev. Headline, Medvedev laments the US will not be brought to justice for NORAD stream bombing. Okay, the damage in broad sense of the word should be held accountable, either country or group or persons. Headline, outer limits of central banking. Oh man, we hear a lot of that stuff. Banking, banking, banking. That's if you have any money. Anyway, okay, here's one. The headline, the Earth's magnetic pole is racing towards Siberia and it's following an outquote, unusual quo, and historical unprecedented path. It's on its way. And that was your headline of the day. I hope you like that. I'm just going with the flow, people. Just something different. If you haven't heard the news, that was the news you need to know. Some kind of geostorm. Northern Lights, yes. That's because the poles are shifting. Didn't you hear the headline? Hey, Shirley Devane. I'm butchering that name badly. Shirley, we'll just call you Shirley. Shirley, we will. Thank you for coming. Lori Elderkin, Lucky Stone. I did not see the lights in the sky. All right. Well, you didn't see the lights, but I'm sure somebody did. Were they UFOs? That's the question. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. And we are going to look over here. Okay, and I got that. And I'm going to put this back over here. Crud. I got a lot of stuff going on in this screen. And there we go. Oh. Huh. Okay, I don't need that file. Should have just shrunk that. Oh, okay. There we go. Shrink it down. And then I'll share it with you guys. Gotta do that. I gotta get out of there. Because I was over there watching that stuff. But anyway, I'm driving the bus, people. Driving the bus. I hope you're staying with me. It's a bumpy ride right now. Nicholas Burnett, thank you. Hail, Milky Way tribe. There you go. Give you that bit there. Good vibes. Yes. Vibe, the new slogan, vibe with the tribe. Gotta love that. Vibe with the tribe. How many people like that? Thumbs up if you like that. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know if you like that. I really like that slogan, vibe with the tribe. And I think maybe I will try to get a t-shirt for that. We got the Milky Way Messenger shirt. What? Wouldn't it be nice to have a Vibe with the Tribe shirt? If you're interested, let me know. Give me a thumbs up, and maybe I'll put that to work. You know, I'm a busy kind of guy, but what the heck? I can do it. I know I can. Maybe. Okay, we got this one here. Let's start with this. Okay. And we have this picture here. Okay. Doing something here. But anyway, thanks people for sticking around. We got lots of good stuff going. I love how we stay open. Don't go. There we go. I love how we stay open. Don't go full Jesus and keep it positive here. Yes, we're gonna do some Jesus proven, non-proven, crazy stuff. Did Jesus? Well, that's a good one. Did Jesus exist or not? Was he an alien or was he not? I don't know. Put it that way. But I'm not praying to him or anybody else, because even if you did pray to him, he's still just the middleman. That doesn't do you any good. It'd be like saying, I need to talk to the king. So I went to, one of his people who, the waitress who was waiting on him. And I talked to her, and then she said she would give the message to him. And you know how that works? It doesn't work very good. You never get it's like playing telephone. Just go right to the source. Walk right in there and talk to the king guy, right? You don't pussyfoot around. Okay. You all got first, replace it. Oh God. Sorry. I'm just reading your guys' headlines. Okay, share screen. Let's look at something really cool. And we're going to go right here tonight. And this is what we're going to be looking at. Here's a new picture. Here's a picture. And tell me, what is this thing? What is this thing? Here you got the Jesus guy on a stick. You know, I mean, it's bad enough you put the Jesus guy on a stick, but what is this up here? What is that? Tell me. Oh, shoot. That's not the right place for that. Okay, we'll get rid of that. There we go. That's what it is. What is that? That's this little guy in a little thing here. This is what we're going to talk about tonight. Okay? So, anyway, if you guys want to talk about this stuff tonight, you go right here. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to do. We're getting into this discussion. And if anybody wants to get in this discussion with me, I am going to put this, the link right here. Oh, I got to stop sharing. Okay. So I'm going to do this. So if anybody wants to join me tonight, one way or another, you can join me. Link is right here. And come on the show, and we will have a discussion. It's going to be open mic night for everybody. You like it? Don't like it? Want to voice your opinion for a minute or two? You go right ahead. I'm right here, all ears, listening like crazy, ready to take you on and have a great discussion. So, link is in the comments here. Get on. Let's do it. If you have an opinion on it. If you don't, you want to talk about anything else, you just get right on. There you go. Have fun with it. I'll see you in a little bit. Okay? But anyway, let's get back to this. Who is this guy? Looks like a human being. Looks like he's got long hair. How come this artist who painted this picture put this little guy right in the ship? He could have just made it a little ball. Well, what did he do? He made a little opening and he put a guy there. He made sure that you could see his face too. just tells me that something was going on. Tells me that weird things were happening. Okay, here we got another picture. All right. Okay, so you got the baby. I imagine that's the baby Jesus or something like that. It's altogether wrong because they didn't have a manger outside. He was living in a cave if he was living at all. They sure didn't have green pastures like that. But then what the heck is this thing? What is this? What is this? It's a cloud and it's dropping stuff down. Something's going on over here too. What is going on in these pictures? Tell me. What is your thoughts? Why is the head backwards? Well, I think he was trying to turn the head back. Yeah, okay. So Travis, you turn the head backwards. Okay, we're gonna go back. We'll go back. Travis wants to know why the head was backwards. Here's his head. His head is backwards because he's trying to show you that it's a person, that it's a human, it's a man. He's looking back. He's driving the ship. See his arms here? And he's operating something, but then it's showing you that this is a person. This is a human being or a man of some sort. That's what it's all about. Then we got this picture. Let's figure this out. Look at this thing here. Now this was before they even had the word flying saucer. You know, this was before all of that. Oh, come on. Not what I want. Anyway, you know, this is what I'm telling you. Anyway, so we're trying to figure out what these things are. You know, I mean, they paint this stuff really good, and they put so much detail in there. Here's another picture. What is this? It is not a cloud. And see this little guy over here? He's looking at this thing. This artist, what I can say is this artist who was drawing these religious pictures was here, and he was trying to tell us there's something else going on. He's trying to tell us. Let's see if I got it blown up somewhere. Oh, I got a picture of this better picture. Where is this better picture? Yeah. Sorry, people. I'm working hard at this. I knew there was a better picture of this, and I got it. Where? It's here somewhere. But anyway, the point is that this little guy right here, he is staring up at this thing. That's what he's doing. He's staring up at that picture or at that thing. And I thought I had a picture of somewhere that was more visible, but I don't know where I put it. I can do the view and I'll do larger icons. And how come when you want something you can never find it, people? I know I had the larger. I had it all blowed up, and now I cannot find it. You know, so anyway, the point is this is some kind of craft here. And we will stop sharing. There, I figured it out. Stop sharing, get rid of that, get rid of this one. And then I'll pop this stuff back up, and then I'll look it back up. So, anyway, you know, because that's what I do. I research. I do a lot of research, people. And then, where is it? So anyway, that's the point. There's always these things out there, and you just have to figure it out. Oh, here it is. There we go. Okay, now I will present that to you. See, I do the work so you don't have to. Gotta love that. Okay, so here is the thing. See, this is the little spacecraft dealy. And this guy, see, he's got his hand up there, and you can tell he is looking at this thing. Who's painting this stuff? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, people. Somebody is painting these things. And they get this stuff. You see these paintings. Somebody painted it. Oh, let's see. Yeah, there we go. Now you tell me what it looks like to you. Here we go. We got it. Why is it? Oh, shoot. I got it. Anyway, we're just having a good old time tonight. Oh, Amber's in the house. Thank you, Amber. Try look at the Last Supper, split and mirrored. Lots of entities are visible. Really? Well, Shirley, I'll give it a try. Last Supper. Okay, the Last Supper, you said, huh? Last Supper. Is there a Last Supper? Here. See, because you know why? I have the best audience out there. That's why, because I have the best audience. My audience knows what is going on. They know things. That's right. And that's all we're here to do. We're here to share with everybody else. Sharing is the best way to do it. Okay. I thought I had one in here. There was a Last Supper one here. Oh, but anyhow, that's the point. But if any of you want to come along, if you got any comments or anything like that, just there's the link to StreamYard. Come and join me. Let's talk about this. Not a problem. If you got an idea, here, Last Supper stuff. Yeah. Okay. All right. This is for you, Shirley. Okay. Share screen as I can. And there we go. Last Supper. Let's see. Maybe they got some things in here on it. Last Supper. Was there more pictures of Last Supper? Oh, look, it's the Capitol building. And the Last Supper. Yep. I don't know. Da Vinci's interpretation and invert it. I don't know how to do that. Shouldn't say, well, I do, but I don't. I don't know how to get that far, Shirley. But anyway, this is the picture you're talking about, Shirley. So there you go. Pamela Jean's in the house. Amber Dawn, Elderberry, thank you for coming tonight. The Pope told Michelangelo, I want a Last Supper with one Christ, 12 disciples, no kangaroos, no trampoline acts. I get it. Just the basics. I suppose he told him too, I'm not paying you if you put more extras in there. Look at this guy. He's got one finger in the air. And this guy, well, at least they got all their fingers. And he's kind of looking mad. This guy's saying, what the heck are you doing? And the other guy's saying, me too. Give me. That's the way I look at it. There were 7 frescoes of the Last Supper in different cathedrals. Oh, I did not know that. That must be one of them. That must be 2 of them. for having a fresco, they had like, multiple different versions of it, didn't they? Apostles, Last Supper painting by Da Vinci and the Pixels. Anyway, cool beans. Thank you. We'll have to do another show on this one later because that is just crazy interesting. And let's go to this. Another UFO. Are UFOs real? They've been around for a long time. Do you know that? They've been put on rock art painting. This is Aborigines or something, or whatever. This was a rock wall. What are these people painting there? If not for trying to tell us something. What is this? What does this mean? Are these bug people? Is this a fish? That looks like a fish. Could these people be underwater? Here's another one. Look at this one. You got the Jesus dead guy on a stick. And what are these things? What is this? That sure ain't a cloud. I mean, if they know how to paint fingers, hands, feet, things like that. Look at, they even gave the ripples in the stomach. Like he was working out or something. But then you got these jellyfish things floating around in the background. Come on, man. These ain't clouds, but they're floating around the background. What are these? See what I'm saying? Okay, here's another one. Back in the day, there's a story about a UFO craft. Now, I read the story before. I don't know if I can find it, but I did find the pictures of it. But, well, Amber, we're just talking. We're just having fun with it, looking at pictures. And I don't know a whole lot about UFOs and aliens either. I know about as much as the next guy, that UFOs and aliens could be or they could not be. Just looking at pictures and talking about it. But anyway, back in the day, early 19th century, which is the 1800s, this UFO craft crashed in the water along the Japan coast, and this woman was in it. And she got out, she was crash landed, and she lived in Japan the rest of her life. Here's another depiction of her. Now, if I could read Japanese, I would tell you what it says, but I can't. And I can't translate either. And so, but see how they're depicting this craft just like they depicted the last craft. You see what I'm saying? It kind of looks very similar to that one. It's got the patches, and it looks like this could be a window, maybe, some symbols on it. It's got that same variety of stripes on the bottom. People are seeing the same thing. They're seeing this object, and they're writing it down, and they're drawing pictures of it. And these are multiple pictures. I mean, look at, they put the little rivets on the lines. They put the windows in the same spots. They got all these designs on it. What were they seeing? Jesus was maybe an alien. How do we know? Maybe he landed in a craft on the ocean somewhere. We don't know. But it does seem awful funny that this is all linked together. The question is does this stuff happen? And yeah, here's another picture of it. And they're always, I don't know what the story is about this box, but the craft, that's what I'm kind of going on, is always the same. It's like, what was this, an escape pod craft? because they said it wasn't very big. But the lady got out and lived in Japan the rest of her life. But then again, we know things crash to the earth. Look at here, huge saucer, Armada, jolts Farmington. This was back in 1950. Now, of course, there's no photographs of it, but it made the headlines. Newsman to flying, writes letter, saucer pilot. Anyway, but anyway, the point is for years and years and years, these things have been happening. In our recent times, they're not linked to religion. But in ancient times, they were linked to religion. They were linked to all kinds of stuff. Now, remember, if you want to come on and join me on this discussion, come on right ahead. Here's a link in the chat. Maybe we can talk about this. If you have any ideas on where these things came from, what they are, want to discuss any of this stuff. Like I said, these are recent ones, but back in the day, they didn't have newspapers too much to write all this stuff down. But here's one from the 1500s. And now I can't read the German, but apparently they were talking about, translated from English, it was talking about this great fight with all these flying saucers flying up above them in a town in Germany. And they were at war. They were shooting laser beams, as you can see by the picture. They were shooting laser beams. There was little round balls and cylinder type things, and they were shooting each other down and hitting the ground and burning up. Was there a war for our world and we didn't know it? Could it be that these guys came back in the day and infused themselves here? Could these be aliens? Could the aliens have dropped off a baby? Maybe that's why they got the little globes on their heads. What is this sign here on her shirt? Is this depicting a sun and the planets? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know. Or maybe that's an insignia of something. I don't know. I don't know where the alien is in this one, but that's the whole point. It's something's going on here. Here's another one. I hope you thing up here. What the heck is this? This thing. I don't know. Can't blow it up anymore, but there you go. Something up there. It's always in these religious pictures too. That's one of those things. Here's another one. Why was this artist drawing this? What is this thing here? Maybe they found a baby. Yes, maybe they did. Anyhow, the point is where did the artist get the idea for this? And what was he expecting the people that looked at this picture to see? They're seeing a house. They're seeing clouds. I mean, I get it. And then they see this thing that looks like a fan blade. Where does this guy who paints a picture 500 years ago come up with this? And he draws it in pretty good detail. Is he trying to send us a message through time? He's sending us a message through time. And what better way to send a message? Here's another one. And again, a religious picture. There you go. You got the guys. They're doing their thing. And is this somebody getting beamed up? Follow the lines. And what is that thing? What is that? Really? Is this artist not trying to tell us something? He's showing us these people are either getting beamed up, beamed down, or enlightened right in front of everybody. And then seeing all these guys are just watching them. Yet they ain't worried about this thing up here. They're not worried at all. They're not worried at all. Just sitting around, and his beam of light shows up. What it does, we don't know. Okay, here we go. Aboriginal art depicting Wandajina figure that sparked alien theory to be reclaimed by traditional owners. And you look at this thing and you say, what is this? I don't know. But could be. Definitely could be. See, it happened all over the world, though. Definitely happened all over the world. Okay, so we're going to go here. This might not be religious, but you tell me what this looks like. Cave paintings in the Sahara Desert. Now, if that don't look like a guy with a spacesuit on, I don't know what does. Doug Stern, thank you for coming tonight. Your favorite subject, yes. Doug, you want to come on the show? There you go. Just click the link. I'd love to hear what you have to say. There you go. These people could be aliens. They could be astronauts. You can tell that they're different sizes, but they look like they got seats on or belts, a helmet to keep and protect their faces, boots. You know, it's this artist. He definitely drew boots on there. Now, this was a cave painting. You can't cover this stuff up. A cave painting in the Sahara Desert. Susie Q, thank you for coming. Oh, yes. But anyway, very good depiction from the artist. I tell you, if I'm painting on a cave wall, it is just gonna be awful because I can't paint on a cave wall very good. Heck, yeah, I can barely paint on a painting.
But there's
Amber,
a reason.
how you doing?
Hey, I'm here to hang out with you, buddy.
I gotta put on my headphones now.
Hi, everybody. It's good to see you. Everybody in the chat, much love.
Absolutely. Thank you for popping in. What do you think of all this?
Well, I don't have a whole lot of knowledge in it, but I mean, there's a reason why they engrave this stuff in stone because, I mean, think about the mud floods and all the different catastrophic events that Earth has gone through, and how do we communicate with each other without it being destroyed is through engraving things in the rock. So they're telling us something. Like, this is not just, willy-nilly, I feel like painting something with my finger. No, it's because they're trying to communicate with us. So there's meaning behind it.
Yes, it's like a time capsule, and you got Shirley says stone is forever, which is so true because when you do stone, then it's like a headstone. Think of it, in 1,000 years or 10,000 years from now. Think of all the headstones that are going to people. Whoever's there is going to say, "Wow, what is all of this?" Everything else will be gone, but the headstones in the graveyards. How crazy is that?
And it's everywhere. And like you're representing here is that in every country there is this type of artwork And
Yeah.
we didn't have telephones back then. We didn't have a way to communicate with each other, and it still is represented everywhere. You know, even where I live in Nevada in the high Sierras, and it's all over. On there's all kinds of different artwork on rocks and things like that from the past that are very similar. So there's something to it.
Oh, absolutely. I would love to come out and see some of that. I know we got some of it here, and I'm going to do some exploring this summer and try to find it out in the Badlands. Somebody told me there's a cave out there on one in the park on the south side, and I am going to go try to find that this year. Um, but uh, I think, well, like where you're at, that rock wall art is easy to see because there's no trees. There's nothing shading it or hiding it. So it's pretty easy to find.
Hmm.
Whereas I think it might be all over the place, except that there's trees and bushes and things like that and moss that grows on the rocks and it covers it up.
Hmm.
I think that's a big hindrance. That's why you don't say, "Oh, there's rock art in Montana," or "There's rock art in Wisconsin." Well, because it just gets covered up. The overgrowth stuff builds up on it.
Do you have you ever thought about like why there's a lot of pictures with the disciples and with Jesus and other entities who have the halo over their head? Have you ever thought about like what that meant?
Yeah, I mean, it's to me, it's either they're trying to show that these people are enlightened, or that they're different than everybody else in some way or shape or form. Um, Here, I got one of those pictures, and we will click on it. This one here. Okay, so you got the Madonna of the UFO of Palazzo of Vesiccio. And why did he put these halos on these people? Is he trying to tell them that they're not like us? Or
I
they're.
fully agree with what you just said. They're more enlightened beings,
Mhm,
and there's a message behind their story. So pay
mhm.
attention and realize that they're not above us. They're just a little bit more evolved.
Yeah, because I can see him saying, "Okay, I'm going to make a halo on the lady because she's enlightened. She's older, so she should be enlightened." But then you put one on the baby. Babies aren't enlightened, are they?
I would
How-
say babies are the most enlightened because they're coming from a very pure place. So
oh,
I would think that this is only just speculation, obviously, but I
yeah.
would think that all babies, they're so pure and innocent. That's why we just love them so much and need to protect them at all costs. And it's only, life experiences that start to dwindle that light and that knowing. Because
Oh,
they're coming from a place of pure light. They've been, if you believe in reincarnation or
mm-hmm.
whatnot, they've been in this place of void for a long time, and they've had a chance to kind of like accumulate everything in their knowledge, and then they come here, and it's like they're being just, I guess, reborn into a new place.
I like that outlook. See, this is why sometimes I get on a streak and I got this one way of thinking, but I like that. They're that pure, innocent kind of from and they just came from source. They came from the other side, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're born again, I guess, in a certain sense.
Yeah, now that makes sense. I like that. I like that. I really do. I never thought of it like that. I never did. Wow.
They're so
Okay.
innocent, they're and helpless, they're just like, but then it's us with our own viewpoints and our own beliefs that start to kind of put our beliefs onto them, and then they start to get older and kind of, accept that belief as truth. When so that it's kind of like we're born here, we're innocent, then we become jaded, and then we learn that that jadedness is only beliefs and programs that we were taught. And so we have to learn to be born again, not in a religious way, just in a spiritual way or a religious way, however you feel. But whatever gets you back to that point of innocence. And that's why they teach us in spirituality is to pay attention to that inner child and love that inner child and be childlike. Go play, do things that put you in that space again, because that is what is going to help us be more connected.
Yeah, it's a good way to think of it. I know, like in my morning ritual, I'll spend a few minutes a day in the morning, usually before I get going. And I know on the days that I do that, I think back, I close my eyes, and I think back to a time when I was young. And I kind of imagine, I remember trying to be where I was and playing or doing something that I really enjoyed or a good point in my life. And I feel younger that day, and I feel better. And I don't know if you ever done that, but it does. When you're young and innocent, you got to kind of relive some of that sometimes, because we grow up and we become these grumpy old adults that, only thing we know is work.
Right. Yeah. And it's like when you start to connect to that inner child and that little person you used to be, you get more giggly and you want to play more and be silly, and we're kind of taught that that's immature or but it's really more of just being you without that monkey mind, without all of that jibber jabber that tends to happen, all the doubts and stuff. If you just go and play, you kind of just forget about all of that stuff and you're in the now. That's the thing, is like being in the now. But I know I'm kind of trailing off of the UFO speech, but
No, no,
I
no. I like that idea, though. I mean, we're trying to explain that the pictures and stuff, but no, I get it, and that's amazing. Yeah, I have to think about that a lot more. Awesome. But well, we got a new picture here. Now we got this dove, and it's like spraying out of its mouth like something. Like,
it seems like music, right? Chirping, like,
oh, that could be. That could
it's like that, like, think about how blissful you feel when you're out in nature and all you
Yeah,
hear are birds chirping and crickets and all of the different animals and insects that create this sound.
yeah, yeah. I get it. Yeah, that's good, because these are like the angels here in this
And look,
picture.
it even has a halo up above his head. The dove does.
Oh yeah, I didn't even see that. Look at that, a little halo on the dove.
Hmm.
Oh, good catch. Good catch. Yeah, because these are the wings, and then here's their halo thing, which is kind of weird. But they got this little thing above them, and they're looking down at something. I couldn't find the rest of the picture, the whole thing. That's all it gave me was that.
It's
Um,
interesting that one of the people has a halo and the other one doesn't, but they both have wings.
no, this is the halo here. This
Oh, that's a
that's why
halo. Okay, it looked
that's
like a
that's
wing.
that's why it says it's kind of weird looking halo dealies or whatever they are. I've
They
never
look
seen.
solid. Looks like more
Yeah,
solid.
solid ones. Yeah.
Maybe that's like a plate of gold that they used to put on their heads, because
Oh, that could be.
I
That
mean,
could
I
be.
don't know, but it could be. That's why a lot of Egyptians and pharaohs and stuff would wear jewelry of gold and silver and copper, is because it has that energetic force. So it could be. It could
Mm,
be. I don't know.
yeah, yeah, could be. Okay, let's go on our next picture. Here we got, looks like the Jesus and Mary character. And they're riding a cloud, but then you got all these other clouds. And if you notice, like some of these clouds back here, this one here looks like a UFO, but they're all in lines. It's kind of weird looking scenario there. Um, you're in this hole and looking down upon the people. Um, I don't know. I mean, I guess the artist is trying to tell us something there. Like there was multiple ones, and or is this Mary? Or Jesus and Mary? I don't know. Didn't really say. I couldn't get a caption on that photo, that
Like
picture.
it could represent that there's many different paths to the same destination.
Yeah.
All those little holes, those little Swiss cheese holes could represent
Mm-hmm.
different ways to go to the same destination.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
You
I
can
like that.
interpret these all different ways.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, it's just this is a better picture of the, and it shows these clouds, but they're weird looking clouds. I mean, usually if you draw clouds, you would draw a fluffy cloud, but it's more
They
like
do look like saucers, don't they?
they do. Like I said, the artist, whoever's drawing this, that's why I says it's kind of weird looking. He's drawing clouds, and by the first glance, we're looking at them as clouds, but they're really not, because clouds don't really go in a straight line. They don't look like that. They don't stay that far apart. And of course, this guy here, they're riding on this cloud, and you can see this one's more flat, but he's trying to show that they're up in the air, I guess. Um, and like I said, these artists back in the day I think they were putting it in there subtly, because if they put it in there blatantly, the picture would get trashed. People wouldn't want to look at it, or the Vatican would take it down. But if you put it in there, so you would look at it and say, oh, that's a cloud, his information would get passed down for hundreds of years. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, for sure. Because it would be destroyed and they would be killed for giving out that type of information. I don't remember who the artist was that created the Last Supper, but I
Mm-hmm.
know that there's a lot of symbolism in that as well. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think you showed it earlier.
Yes, I did, and yeah, they they put a lot of symbolism in there, and it's only recently that people are actually saying, hey, there's something more there than just a picture of the Last Supper. But for hundreds of years, people looked at it as the Last Supper and said, oh, that's really good, and it's a good depiction, and blah blah blah. And now it's like, well, did you notice this? Did you notice that? So it's like a hidden message in front of our faces. And I think I think the artist must have knew that when people were smart enough to figure it out, the message would be received. Do you agree?
Yeah, well, we go through all of these different ages. We go through the Golden Age, the
Mm-hmm.
Silver Age, the Bronze Age, right?
Yes.
And so whenever these were created could have been in a different age.
Mm-hmm.
Leonardo da Vinci, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And Leonardo da Vinci had painted other things as well that had encrypted messaging in his paintings.
Oh
But
yeah, Mona
so
Lisa. How many times have I heard this story about the Mona Lisa? Oh, right.
yep, yep. And so like I ask myself, which I'm sure many of us have, is don't we see this? If they got to see it, how come we aren't seeing it? And the answer that I kind of have come up with is, well, one, we're in a different age and we're coming out of that. Now we're coming into the age of Aquarius, which is knowledge, is truth being seen, for the benefit of all. And also is because of, different ages are more spiritual than others. And we're coming into a more spiritual age now where people are opening their third eye and we're able
Yes.
to see this, because there's a lot of people, like I know when I meditate, which I haven't for a while, but when I was meditating for hours and hours a day, I would start seeing things, um, and that nobody else could see.
Mm-hmm.
So that may be why, we can't see that stuff quite yet, but it's happening more and more. The more you become connected spiritually, the more you're going to see things that have always been here, but
Mm-hmm.
that we've kind of blocked out.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree with that. But see, here's another thing. Look at this. Basin residents report new sightings of UFOs. Now, I think I think you're right, and I think though back in the day, people who did see those things, they didn't know how to communicate it because they couldn't get it in the newspaper. And so the artist sees this stuff and he draws a picture of it, puts it there in this and hides it in this picture, thinking somebody in the future will get this message. Today, you if you showed up tomorrow and you said, "Hey, I seen a UFO, blah blah blah," and it beamed me up into the, a lot of people would be, well, maybe not today, but 20 years ago, they'd be like, "That lady's a little bit nuts,"
Put her in
you
the
know.
loony bin.
Yeah, so you don't say anything, or like nowadays, oh, I had this religious experience. Jesus came to me and, he told me things and blah, 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 blah. People are like, oh, that was a little, crazy. But now, 50 years ago or 100 years ago, you say, oh, Jesus came to me and I had this religious experience. They would build you a church on that spot. They would
Mm-hmm.
celebrate you with a day in your honor of, the gal who's seen Jesus or met Mary Magdalene, or whatever, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And as the times change, we tend to have different headlines. See, and here, look at in 1977, UFOs were spotted at nuclear bases and missile sites, and okay. And this was how many years ago? And today, where they're just coming out saying, well, we might have spotted one.
Well, that's why we have to stay vigilant and not believe everything that we're told, because we're told the opposite quite often of what's really going on, and they do that to protect themselves and to keep power.
Yes.
And it's like, like typically when there's some kind of phenomenon that happens back in the day, and it gets, like you said, it gets forgotten for a while, and then it just all of a sudden comes back up because we're at more of a consciousness where we're looking for it, and it finds us.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. And it's the thing is this stuff has been happening regardless if people have been reporting it or not for, you know, hundreds of years, all the way back into those days where we were just looking at the pictures. Look at here, 1897, UFO baffles scientists in Aurora. I think this was Aurora, Texas, or West Virginia. I don't know. It was either Texas or West Virginia. I can't remember exactly. But anyway, um, these things happen, and because it's not a popular thing, or it wasn't religious thing or something like that, it just gets tossed under the covers, or sheets or whatever you want, or swept under the couch, one or the other, whichever you
And
like.
now they're starting to come out with, oh, the government is now releasing that aliens do exist. It's like, yeah, we've known that, guys, you know.
Yeah, and how come it's more popular in other countries? Look at here, headline: RAFF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region. And then guess what? The next day, this was the first day. No details on flying discs are revealed. And you know what happened the next day? Oh, it was a weather balloon.
Yeah.
So the first day, it's a flying saucer captured, and then the next day, it's a weather balloon. And we all just, but today they can rule things on through the newspaper, the news. They've learned how to manipulate us. I mean, this stuff, look at this. Here's one from, it looks like these guys were in the war or something. And what is this thing? you know, you can see this guy, he's pointing at it. You got either armies here or a castle or something. I can't see the details too good, but it's telling you that there's a bunch of people and they're seeing this object hovering right there.
And can you imagine all the information that was burned with all the, they've burned libraries, they've burned ancient ruins, they've burned a lot of things to hide, but there's still little fragments like this that still
Yes.
exist. And when you brought up the weather balloon thing, obviously or the alien balloon or whatever, I'm gonna have to bring up the balloons that were just spotted in what was it, North Carolina or
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah. 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 They
And
traveled all across the United States.
and
And
yeah,
yeah.
and everyone's just like, "What's that?" And have they spoken about it? Not really. They shot it down. Now they're just like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, it was what it was." Okay,
Mhm.
so I feel like maybe so there could be there's always two sides of a coin. So it could be either this. They're trying to prepare us for Blue Beam Project
Yep.
and do some fakery stuff. Or they're trying to discredit UFOs by putting a balloon up in the sky and making us think it was a UFO and then going, nope, sorry, it was just a weather balloon from China. Um,
Mhm.
so it's kind of like trying to uh, skew the truth, which is what they like to do. They like to muddy the waters and confuse us.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wasn't it Werner von Braun that said on his deathbed that said the last thing they're going to try to do is have a alien tell us that aliens exist or whatever like that, something on that order.
And then Blue Beam with all their, because,
Hmm.
there's been a lot of projections in the sky. We've seen the Jesus projections, we've seen
Hmm.
the different things in the sky, but we've also seen things that looked pretty, I don't know, real, I guess. But
Yeah.
it almost seems it's just a distraction. Like you always have to pay attention to what government is doing and the laws they're doing behind the scenes, because it's typically just to make us look in one way. Look to the left, not the right, because the right over here is what we're really doing. Just go over and look at the left, look left hand side of you.
Oh yeah, yeah. And the government's great at manipulating. I mean, I'm sure they got guys working around the clock to, throw us off track all the
Mhm.
time. I mean, because it's a science. I mean, I know like a grocery store or convenience store, um, there's people who've studied product placement so that something at eye level catches your eye, and the seller, contracts with the store to put it on that shelf because they will sell more product. And then you notice the other products are lower down as they go because nobody's going to buy that product on the bottom shelf as much as they're going to buy that one at eye level.
Yeah, I've worked at different stores and I was a merchant there, and the art of being a merchant, just like you
Mm-hmm.
said, is placing things at a certain way to, and then so let's say green beans are on the bottom of the shelf. They're a
Yep.
low selling product. You have a more expensive product on the top. Well, the next week they're going to flip it. Costco does this all the time. I used to work
Mm-hmm.
there. And so, just to keep things moving and selling, they do put them on in display so you buy them and they don't go bad and stuff like that. You're totally right.
Yeah, like that's why when you go to the checkout at the grocery store, on both sides of you, there's snacks like candy bars and soda
Yep.
pop because
And
they know, and
toys for
toys.
the kids. Yep.
Yeah, because they know when you walk through there after looking at all that food, you're hungry and you're thirsty and you've been in the store for quite a while and now you're leaving and you're thinking, hey, I can grab that pop and I can drink it on my way out. And that's the most expensive pop there is in the whole store.
Mhm. Yeah. And they put like for example, they'll put a popcorn maker and then right next to it they'll put popcorn. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's all, there's a reason why they do that. It's, and just like billboards and things like that. Like there's definitely, and there's also like Why can't I think of it? I'm sure you can, Robert. Like they use symbolism. There's different symbolisms that kind of
Yes.
catch your eye because subconsciously that's kind of our language is symbolism.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because if you think about it, when we're babies, that's all we know is symbolism. All we know is facial, like, recognition. Oh, that person's mad because they look like this. Like that's how we were came into this world is learning things through just symbolism.
Yeah.
So our brain's always attached to that, and they know how to use it.
Yeah, that and colors as symbols, and yeah, like lines. I was just looking up something today, and they were talking about the airplanes, and you'll see airplanes, and they have numbers and letters or whatever, call signs or dashes and things, and they were saying like just by the way they paint them, each line on there or letter signifies something about that plane and where
Hmm.
it's from and what division it's from and who's flying it or what country it's from. It's like, wow, I didn't realize there was all that done on the plane. It just looks cool.
Right. I know. It's like, ooh, pretty picture, but really subconsciously it's affecting us. We recognize it.
Yeah, yeah, our subconscious mind goes right there.
And that's
uh,
the whole point of all these pictures is they know we're going to recognize. I mean, how we all know about UFOs and crafts. They knew that eventually we're going to start seeing these in their pictures. They put them
yeah,
there for a reason because they exist.
yes, and there was no TV or camera, so the artist had to see the stuff to draw it. And
Hmm.
then, like this one here, this is from India. This is a Vamana. And as you can see, they painted it like there was a house. They're trying to show that there's people or things in there. And then, here you got over the water with the alligators and the hippos or whatever they are, and monkeys are there. And you got some other bears or something. And here's all the people. And they're all looking up at this thing in the heavens, because they're trying to signify, look at, here's the birds flying around with it. I mean, obviously, it probably didn't look quite like this, but it's just showing that there was something up there flying around, a building. I guess I would look at it like that too, as a building flying around. I don't know what it is. I don't have any weird words to describe it.
It reminds this kind of reminds me of the picture of the firmament,
Ah,
like with
yeah.
with the flat Earth and the firmament. Like
Mm-hmm.
above the firmament is an ocean that also has living creatures above there too.
Ah, yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree.
I'm looking at the animals going up that
He's looking up. You see his hand in the air. It's up over like he's the shepherd. He's looking up, and you got this thing up above here, some
yeah.
kind of craft. Trying to
Hmm.
signify this. What it's telling me is this thing here is watching these two people. It doesn't care about this guy looking up, or the kids, but it's looking after these people. I think that's my interpretation. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting interpretation.
So that's how I would think. Why would this craft be there? It's only there because it's and you got these two people, because obviously it's not looking after these.
Well, you know what also could be represented is there's one person paying attention to the craft in the sky, but
Hmm.
the other people don't even see it. They're not
Yeah,
even paying attention. So there's things out there that some people see, and but other people don't because they're too distracted.
that it's trying to let us know. The artist is trying to let us know that this is a real thing up here,
Right.
because this
Look.
guy is looking, and yeah, it's telling us, look up here, look at this thing. But
Yeah.
because in the real picture, this is really small. It's just up there a little bit.
Well, if
So
you notice, the guy that's looking doesn't have a halo,
yeah,
but
you don't.
but the two adults here do have a halo.
They do. That's why I said I think this craft is watching these people, and this guy sees it, but these two are the people it's watching. Otherwise, why would it be there? I got another one that's kind of similar to that, and that's this one here. And as you can see here, you got another craft that sits up in the sky, and then there's this beam of light that comes down onto her head, like it's transferring a halo or something. You see this like in between? I don't know what this would be, but it's like it's sending something down into her head.
Information.
Yeah, like a download. And see this guy over here? He sees it. See his arm in the air again? He's looking up at it. And he's saying, what the heck is this thing? And these people don't see it, but this guy here, he's telling us, look up. I see this thing. That's what I'm getting out of it. Here's a better.
And then the woman that the channel is going to, she's like praying. It almost looks like she's praying or something. And she has a halo.
Yeah, yes, she does.
So it's almost like,
No, that looks like something in her hair. Like
chopsticks or something.
Yeah. This picture shows it better. But yeah, whatever this is, this thing right here interests me a lot because it's like you said, it's sending her a download. It's sending her something. At least that's what they're trying to depict.
And she looks very focused and like in the now, she looks.
Yes.
She looks, her arms are crossed. I don't know. She just kind of looks like she's praying or something.
Yeah. Or she's reading something.
That's true.
There's something here, and she's reading or doing something at kneeling. She's on her knees. Looks like she's on her knees. No? Or is she standing? Yeah, it looks like she's
on her knees. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's reading something, and then she's getting this download, and look at it, comes right through the wall. Oh, it comes right through the side of the wall here, through this thing, and it aims perfectly right onto her head. Wow.
Yes, Nina, as above, so below. I was talking to somebody about that the other day with astrology. And we were talking because my friend is very, very, very smart when it comes to astrology, and much smarter than me. And he's kind of like starting to doubt a little bit, and which we all do. Like that's normal human behavior, is kind of questioning things. And we were talking about like how he was saying that what is Saturn, how does Saturn affect us? Like if Saturn got blown up today, it wouldn't affect us. And I said, that's not true, because as above, so below. If you look at atoms have protons that are spinning around the nucleus, right?
Yep.
And if one of those protons gets disrupted, it either goes away or it switches orbit, which causes cancer. This is actually science. Like, so if you have, a disrupted atom, it's going to make it unstable, which creates more unstable atoms, which causes cancer. So that's the same with the planets. Planets go around the sun in an orbit. And if one of those planets gets destructed, then it's going to disrupt the whole balance of everything. It's going to cause Earth to go into a different orbit. It's going to disrupt everything. So, it's as above, so below. Like if something that is in balance gets disrupted, it's going to create imbalance. It's going to disrupt everything. So,
I totally agree with that. I totally agree, because you change just like anything else, when they add molecules or take away molecules or change something, you have a new element, and that element has totally different properties than the one previous. And like for instance, that's why they're always trying to change lead into gold, because it's like one molecule away and in difference, but yet it's a whole different. Lead and gold are two totally different um, pieces of metal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One,
It might be gold, but it might be fool's gold that you're creating or some type of, it's like you can't really replicate nature. Like
mm-hmm,
nature is nature. And if you start trying to falsify it, it's going to disrupt the balance.
mm-hmm,
And who knows all of these scientists and stuff, what they're doing behind closed doors, could be completely disrupting the and you know what happens after that?
mm.
That's what causes cataclysms.
Yes, yes. I really agree with that. Well, it's like the Kuiper, or not the Kuiper belt. What's that belt between Mars and, is it between Mars and Jupiter, or here in Mars? The asteroid belt. That's the one I'm
Yeah.
thinking of. Now, if that was that planet Tiamat and it got destroyed, those scientists say that that's what threw Mars off of its orbit, because it has this elliptical orbit, and it looks like it had life, but now it doesn't. Well, it could have been because it was in balance at one point in time, and that other planet was in that other orbit, and then
Mm-hmm.
now everything has changed. Just like they say, people used to live to be 900 years old, and now, heck, we got a hard time making 100.
Mm-hmm.
So something changed, something big changed, and yeah, it's all about the changes and things. I hope to gosh we never have to go through that, because it might not be for the better. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here we got a new picture, and as you can see, here's something else. Looks like little UFO things in the background. They've already circled them for us. This is another one of those. Like I said, these artists were like hiding these things. But here's one that has a picture and it has the same thing up there, almost just like the last picture. But this thing right here, um, is just hiding up there, just hiding up over the top of that castle. I mean, it's not part of the castle. It's not a cloud, but this artist was, and it makes you wonder if whatever it is, these things have been watching us for thousands of years and just observing, or maybe influencing,
Mm-hmm.
or something. Um, you know what I mean?
Yeah. There was two experiences. Well, there's more experiences than two, but big ones when I was younger. One was a dream, but the other one was I was coming back home from Susanville to Reno,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a long stretch of desert. And I was looking in the sky. I was like 8, and it I looked over, and it was this huge ball of light
Mm-hmm.
that went through the whole sky. Now, yes, it could have been a comet, but I wasn't feeling like it was a comet. Like I've always just felt attached to something, but I never really knew what it was. So I just didn't feel like that was a comet, but it lit up the whole side of the sky.
Mm-hmm.
My mom didn't see it because she just doesn't pay attention to that kind of stuff at all. Um, I was lucky enough to get home because she would fall asleep during that drive all the time. Um, and then I had a dream that I was at my grandpa's house, and I came out, and there was this huge black ship hovering over very close. Like if you would have been a really tall jumper, you could have jumped and touched it.
Oh wow.
And all of a sudden, I saw this bright light and I got sucked up into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like, our dreams are premonitions, I not all the time, but there's certain ones that just stick into your mind. And that had always stuck into my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not always negative. I'm sure some entities can be negative. Oh, I also have this really cool story where there's this lake called Pyramid Lake. It's
Mm-hmm.
about 45 minutes away from where I live. It's on
Mm-hmm.
an Indian reservation. It's totally desert, but there's a lake out there.
Mm-hmm.
Good fishing, very famous for the fishing. Anyway, so me and a friend of mine went out there years ago, and he used to work for the Air Force, and he said that he was what is special forces. he lied a lot, so I wasn't really, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. He had this light that kind of looked like a beam, like one of those things you play with cats, like a laser beam.
Yeah.
But it blinked a lot and it had different colors in it and stuff. And he's like, just watch. So this was at nighttime. We were at Pyramid Lake. He was pointing at different areas of the sky, trying to get attention from UFOs. Finally, we got their attention. Across the lake, it was multiple. It looked like falling stars, but there had to have been 50 of them that just went pew, 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 all down, down, down. It was straight down. It wasn't across the sky or anything. There was like 50 of lights just going straight down. And that sealed the deal for me. I saw it with my own eyes. Like, there's multiple things that have happened throughout my life, but that
Mhm.
right there, we did it on purpose to see what would happen, and that happened.
Yeah.
So I'm fully convinced that there are entities that want to be seen,
Mhm.
but you have to be in that calm state of mind and the openness to like actually see it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. That's what that Stephen Greer. He has that. You ever check him out, Stephen Greer?
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that's what he's always like talking about how you can, channel with the aliens and draw in the UFOs and craft to you because they can, you can telepathically talk with them, kind of,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
something. And I kind of believe that. From all the stories I've heard, it says that the ships are whoever's driving them are actually using their brain. The ship is an entity, a living being, and that the person driving it is connected to the ship to drive it.
Yeah,
And
their consciousness is what moves it.
yes, exactly. And then the two beings are literally the ship and the person, can are making the thing move, and that's why when you're trying to telepathically connect, that you're just hooking up to that link because, and that was another thing I was going to say to you about when you were saying about a dream and the real thing. Um, well, our brains are kind of fragile. They're very easily manipulated. I mean, and so like if you're having that dream or you think it's a dream, in all reality, I don't know if a person could tell the difference in a way. I
No,
mean,
yeah, it's just a different uh level of consciousness, basically. You
yeah,
know.
yeah, because I don't know. I mean, I've had dreams where I woke up and went, "Oh my gosh," and I really thought it was real. I
For
mean, it
sure.
felt really real. And then when I woke up, I had to really look around and convince myself that, yeah, that was a dream. Okay, take a
But then
deep
when
breath
you're in
and
your
move on.
dream, you think that reality is a dream. It's like
Yes.
it's really cool. Our dreams tell us a lot. It's just
Hmm.
some of them are, some of them are just our brains doing whatever it does, but sometimes it's very much other than that. And I
Yeah.
just wanted to say hi, Seeker of Truth. I see you came in late, so it's good to see you.
Yep. I'm glad she showed up. And I got one last one. Speaking since you were talking about being young, here is the Broadhaven UFO sightings mark 40 years. This was a group. I think this was in South Africa, somewhere. I think it was, and the kids. The UFO landed out in back of the schoolyard, and the kids all ran out and into the woods, and they seen the UFO there. And these are some of their drawings of
Wow.
the UFO craft.
Wow.
And of course, that was hush hushed.
Of
I, I,
course.
I don't remember if it was in um, Australia or South Africa, one of the two. I know it was one of those places. But anyway, the kids, but you can see by the different drawings that they drew pretty much the same craft.
Mm-hmm.
It was the same shape. And then I think some of the aliens had gotten out, and some of the kids ran up there, and the teacher's telling them not to. If I remember the story right. And then soon after that, after the thing left, the military showed up. Everybody had to sign non-disclosure agreements, and
Of course, this never
they,
happened.
yeah, it never happened. They removed all the kids from the classrooms and scattered them all over the place, so that they couldn't talk. And I think, the why. My question is why does the government put so much emphasis in covering this up? Why do they work so hard at it? I mean, not just a little bit, but very, very hard at this stuff. But then again, I think about it like this. Here you go. You got the people back in the day knowing that they had to cover these things up with symbols and stuff like that, so that they wouldn't get axed either.
Hmm.
And now they have you sign a non-disclosure agreement, and back in these days, your head would go on the guillotine, kind of thing.
Yeah. And sometimes I'm sure it still does.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe because they don't want us to know the true power of what exists. There's more out there than just this mundane life of working and going home and sleeping, you know? Like there's more out
yes,
there, and maybe they don't want us to know that because it gives us more power,
yes. And I
more
think,
belief.
yeah, and I think, like, by looking at these pictures and stuff, I do believe that there was a reset somewhere, like you were talking about the mud floods and things like that.
Hmm.
Um, they hid a bunch of history from us. Is it possible that there was a mind wipe of us, that we forgot the mud flood, we forgot our history, we forgot the UFOs, and then when all of this came back, um, we went ahead and said, oh, and the government just filled our heads with the knowledge we needed to know, and we all moved on.
I It could possibly be because if they told us that we get resets every certain amount of time, that we would be like, well, why are we sitting here slaving for you when we could just be being spiritual beings? You know,
Yes.
like what's the point if we're just going to get wiped out? Like we might as well not work for you and be spiritual. You know, it could be that. I don't know what their reasoning is, but
Yeah.
that last picture was pretty cool. This one is too. Like it's just every single picture from people from the olden days, they put this kind of stuff in there to tell us, this is not fake. They're not just here drawing cartoons. They're trying to communicate with us.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Look at this guy worked so hard at putting this guy, showing us to look up, and they even put his dog looking up. And they had to do this really small because here's the original picture. And look how tiny
Oh,
he
wow.
is. He's in there, but he's so tiny you don't even see his dog. You're just seeing this main picture.
Yeah.
And here he is looking up, and like it says, they did a good job on trying to hide this, knowing that someday somebody's going to look at it, find these things, blow them up, and look at it and go, look at the detail in this itty bitty guy. He's got
Look
an
at the
armband.
dogs even looking at it.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. They got a picture of the dog. You can see
Yeah.
his ears, his mouth. Maybe he's howling, and here's this guy, and he's got a hat, and you can see they even painted his robe. Like there's stripes and lines. It's just not a. This guy put a lot of effort into this guy looking up. You know what I mean?
And look at
And
all the energy coming off of the ship too.
yes, yes, it's trying to tell you something on the ship
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, the painter, the artist, he put effort into this, drawing it so teeny tiny and with lots and lots of detail as best he could muster. Considering the original is, I mean, it took us how many hundreds of years to actually figure it out, you know? what, this was probably done in the 1500s or something like that.
Yeah,
And,
back
and
then they had they had magnifying glasses, but
yeah,
they didn't
exactly.
have like what we have now. We can just zoom in.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Wow. What an interesting night this has been. Oh my gosh. Wow. Look at that. We don't want to go too terribly long. We're getting an hour and a half here, but I want to thank everybody for coming. Amber, I want to thank you for popping in. It was great having a little bit of banter with you and your ideas on these things, um, because you gave me a different perspective of looking at some of that stuff, especially with the baby thing. That really made me, yeah, I'm really glad you said something on that because I didn't think of it like that at all.
The
But
power of the tribe, got to put our
yeah,
input in.
exactly. And a lot of times I just go on the comments here, and like I said, I got so many smart people here. Um, and we got Shirley. Oh my gosh, she says in Isaiah it says our ignorance is because we don't question the lie in our right hand, half burned in the fire of the great earthquake. I don't know what that's supposed to be, but
See, that's similar to what I was saying. Look at the left, don't look at the right.
yeah,
Look over here on the left because we're gonna keep you from looking over here at the right, which is what we're really doing. It's perfect, perfect.
that that is Nina the Mystics in the house. Now, don't forget to join her on Sunday Live on Sunday night. I forget what guest she's got on, but I remember seeing the lady, and it looks like it's going to be a good one. Let's see, we got Seeker of Truth come to join us. We got Lady Spellbreaker, and she's telling us about the DNA and our eat some organic foods and herbs for healing, and it's all from Mother Earth, and I guess that's all we can ask for. We got Lucky Stone in the house. We got Max G, Susie Q, Max Vision, and Pamela Jean. Let's see who else. Chloe, I think Chloe had to go. She and Doug Stern. Doug Stern came to join us tonight. Well, we got a whole bunch of people in here.
Yeah,
But
thanks everyone for joining, and it's really good to see you guys. And I'm sorry I didn't get to respond to everybody's comments because we were very well, it's hard for me anyways because I can't really chat when you're using StreamYard. I can't respond. So
yeah, it's all right. But anyway, it's just the point. Thank you for coming on, Amber. I love your opinion, and like it says, if anybody else would have popped in, have been fine too. I like it says, it was just kind of going to be an open mic night. I'm going to try to start doing these on like Friday nights or something, and just get
yeah,
people to pop in, and when they feel like it, we'll bring up some kind of subject, and we'll have a free for all. I try a little bit of something new.
yeah.
So it's all good. But
Well,
anyway,
thanks for having
remember
me on.
everybody, go out, do something nice for somebody. The weekend's coming up. You go to the grocery store, you go out, you go wherever. Can't do anything but give them a smile. Just do that. Make somebody's day. That's all there's to it. You remember, go out and be the frequency you want to receive. Thank you, everybody. Peace.
Peace, everybody. Bye,
See you
Robert.
tomorrow. See you tomorrow night.